You spent decades saving for retirement. Now, here's the question. How do you take it out? If you think, I've saved enough, I'll just withdraw whatever I need whenever I want, you might be making a $100,000 mistake. The order in which you withdraw from different accounts can make a $100,000 difference over a 30-year retirement and determine whether your money runs out early or lasts through your entire retirement. So when it comes to actually taking money out in retirement, there are really 3 big decisions you need to make. First, which account do you spend from first? That's your withdrawal order. Second, how much do you take out each year? That's your withdrawal speed. And third, when do you start taking Social Security? That's your timing. Get any one of these wrong, and it could cost you. Get all 3, right? That's when your retirement plan really starts to work for you. Taxable accounts, traditional accounts, Roth accounts. Which one do you spend from first, and which one do you save for last? Get it right, and you could leave tens of thousands more to your family over a 30-year retirement. Get it wrong, and you'll pay more in taxes and run out of money sooner. This is the first episode of the Art of Retirement Withdrawals series. Last time, we covered Roth conversions. That's what you do before retirement. Today is about what you do after retirement. 2 episodes, seamlessly connected. All right, let's start with the basics. 3 tax buckets. Why does withdrawal order matter? A lot of people think retirement withdrawals are simple. Need money, take it from anywhere, no big deal. But here's the reality. Taking money from different accounts gives you completely different tax bills. And what you take and how much doesn't just affect your current year's taxes. It also affects how much of your Social Security gets taxed and whether your Medicare premiums go up. Now, the conventional wisdom on withdrawal order goes something like this. Spend your taxable account first because it's the most flexible and gets the lowest tax treatment. Then move to your traditional account since that money is taxable when you take it out. And save your Roth for last because it's completely tax-free. And look, this order is roughly right. But, and this is a big but, it ignores one critical issue. RMDs. Here's the problem. If you spend down your taxable account in your 60s, and then at 73, you're forced to start taking RMDs from your traditional account, your tax bill could spike. And I mean spike. That 1 year's tax bill could be more than the previous 10 years combined. RMDs start at 73 for most people. If you were born in 1960 or later, it's 75. But that doesn't take effect until 2033. Not 2026, 2033. And the RMD amount? It's your account balance divided by an IRS life expectancy factor. Bigger balance, bigger RMD. Bigger RMD, bigger tax bill. So the whole strategy shifts. Before RMDs kick in, you want to intentionally shrink your traditional account balance. Conventional versus advanced. Which one's right for you? The logic is straightforward. Spend taxable first, because that money has already been taxed. When you withdraw it, you don't owe ordinary income tax, only capital gains tax on the investment earnings, which is lower. Then traditional. Because you didn't pay tax when you contributed, you pay it when you withdraw. The longer you leave it, the more it compounds tax deferred. Roth last. Because it's completely tax-free, you save it as your ace in the hole. Roth IRAs have no RMDs, so you can leave it untouched indefinitely. What's the problem with this order? The problem is, you're ignoring what your tax bill will actually look like. If you spend down your taxable account in your 60s, taking only small amounts from your traditional IRA each year, just enough to live on, then when RMDs kick in at 73, your traditional account balance hasn't shrunk. It's actually grown larger due to compounding. Your RMD is calculated as your account balance divided by a life expectancy factor. The bigger the account, the bigger the RMD. The result? After age 73, you're forced to take large traditional account withdrawals, pushing you into a higher tax bracket. At the same time, you may also end up paying more tax on your Social Security benefits, and your Medicare premiums might increase because your income exceeds certain thresholds. Now here's where it gets smart. The advanced strategy. Use what I call the low tax rate window. Here's the idea. Between the time you retire and when RMDs start, that's typically your 60s up to 73. Your income is usually at its lowest. You're not working anymore. You might not be taking Social Security yet. And your marginal tax rate? It's likely way lower than it was during your working years. One thing to keep in mind, if you plan to start Social Security early at 62 or continue working part-time in retirement, your low tax window will be shorter. Plan accordingly. You might want to increase traditional withdrawals or Roth conversions in years when your income is particularly low. During this window, you can do something strategic. Actively withdraw from your traditional account, filling up the lower tax brackets. The goal isn't to spend the money, it's to reduce your traditional account balance, making future RMDs smaller. What do you do with the money you take out early? 3 options. Spend it if you need it, convert it to Roth, or move it to a taxable account. Each one serves a different purpose. Core logic. In low tax years, move money from your traditional account into your Roth account. By the time RMDs hit, your traditional balance is much smaller and the RMD impact is much lower. This strategy is called tax smoothing in financial planning. Now, here's another advanced strategy. Or really, it's a trap you need to watch out for. It's called the Social Security tax torpedo. RMDs aren't the only income bomb. Social Security also affects your tax bill. Up to 85% of your Social Security benefits may be taxable. Here's how it works. Your other income, including traditional IRA withdrawals, investment income, etc., plus half your Social Security benefits. If that total exceeds certain thresholds, a portion of your Social Security becomes taxable. Here's something a lot of people miss. Your other income for this provisional income calculation includes tax-exempt bond interest. Many people think tax-exempt bonds are completely tax-free, but in the Social Security tax calculation, that interest counts toward your provisional income and could push your benefits into a higher tax bracket. The more you withdraw from traditional accounts, the more of your Social Security gets taxed. This creates a phenomenon where for every extra $1 you withdraw, your effective tax rate could be double what you expect. Because that $1 not only gets taxed itself, but also pushes more of your Social Security into a higher tax bracket. This is called the tax torpedo. Key takeaway. This is exactly why you want to reduce your traditional account balance before you start taking Social Security. Part 3. Case Study. Mike and Sarah's 30-year retirement plan. Now let's put all of this together with Mike and Sarah. 2 strategies, 1 retirement, completely different outcomes. Data note. Specific numbers like standard deduction amounts and tax brackets for 2026 are not yet final at the time of this recording. The figures used here are illustrative estimates used to explain the strategy logic, not actual projections. Please refer to official IRS year-end figures for accurate numbers. Let's start with strategy A, the classic order. Taxable first, then traditional, Roth last. From age 60 to 65, they spend down their taxable account first, about $70,000 a year. That depletes it in about 2 to 3 years. Then they start pulling from their traditional account, again about $70,000 a year. At age 70, they turn on Social Security. Let's say about $4,500 a month for the couple, which is $54,000 a year. And they keep withdrawing from traditional to cover the rest. Then, at age 73, RMDs kick in. By this point, their traditional balance hasn't shrunk much. After 13 years of growth and withdrawals, it's still sitting around $900,000 to $1 million. The RMD factor at 73 is about 26.5. So their first RMD is roughly $34,000 to $38,000. Now here's where it gets painful. Add that RMD to their Social Security and their voluntary withdrawals, and their annual taxable income could easily exceed $120,000 to $130,000. That pushes them into the 22% to 24% tax bracket, or higher. And up to 85% of their Social Security benefits could be taxable. Now let's look at strategy B, the advanced approach. From age 60 to 73. Instead of waiting for RMDs to force their hand, they proactively withdraw from their traditional account each year. Just enough to fill up the 12% tax bracket. Now the exact number changes every year with inflation. But just to give you an idea, in this example, it's about $47,000 to $48,000 of taxable income space after the standard deduction. If they need more to live on, they pull the rest from their taxable or Roth accounts. So they're taking about $50,000 to $55,000 from traditional each year, on purpose, while their tax rate is still low. Under strategy B, over a 30-year retirement, you'd save about $80,000 to $100,000 in taxes, equivalent to 2 to 3 years of retirement expenses. Important caveat. This is an estimated result under this specific case study. Not everyone will achieve this exact difference. Everyone's account size, investment returns, and retirement timeline are different. The key is understanding the strategy logic, not applying these specific numbers to your situation. So, which strategy is actually right for you? Now let's figure out which one actually fits your situation. 1. Who fits the spend taxable first classic order? Let's match the strategy to the person. If your traditional account balance is relatively small, say under $500,000 at retirement, your RMDs probably won't push you into a higher tax bracket. In that case, the classic order works just fine. Taxable first, traditional second, Roth last. No need to overcomplicate it. Or, if you're already in a high tax bracket, maybe you have part-time income in retirement or other taxable income sources. You might not have a low tax window to use. In that situation, withdrawing traditional early doesn't make sense for you. The classic order is the better fit. And if you want to leave your Roth account to your heirs, because Roth accounts have no RMDs and are completely tax-free for beneficiaries. The classic order already does that for you. These 3 scenarios are a good fit for the classic order. 2. Who fits the proactive traditional withdrawal advanced strategy? On the flip side, if your traditional balance is large, say over $500,000 or $600,000, your future RMDs could easily push you into higher tax brackets. You need to be proactive. The key question is, do you have a low tax window between age 60 and 70? No wages, maybe no Social Security yet. That means your 12% or 22% tax space is empty. That's your golden opportunity to withdraw traditional early. Also, if you plan to delay Social Security until 70, your window from 60 to 70 is even cleaner. No wages, no Social Security. Just a wide open, low tax space. And finally, if you want to control your tax bill instead of letting RMDs control it for you, the advanced strategy is designed for you. Now, what about Roth conversions? Here's the basic idea. You move money from your traditional account to your Roth account. You pay tax on it now, and from that point on, it grows tax-free and comes out tax-free later. Who's this good for? First, people who have low tax years. If your income is down and your tax rate is low, that's the perfect time to convert. Second, people with large traditional balances who are worried about future RMDs. Converting some of that money now can shrink your RMDs later. Third, people who want to leave tax-free money to their heirs. Roth accounts are a great inheritance tool. And fourth, people who are worried tax rates might go up in the future. If you think rates are going to be higher later, paying the tax now could be a smart move. Who should avoid Roth conversions? If you're already in a high tax bracket, it'll push you higher. If you need the money for living expenses, converting locks it up. And if you don't have cash to pay the tax bill, don't do it. Important. Roth conversion amounts count as taxable income for the year, so converting too much at once could push you into a higher bracket where it doesn't make sense. Also, large conversion amounts can increase your Medicare Part B and Part D premiums. IRMA surcharges. Evaluate this before making a large conversion. Action steps. 1. Check your account balance distribution. Taxable, traditional, Roth. What percentage is in each? 2. Estimate your low tax window between age 60 and 73. How much room do you have in lower tax brackets? 3. Decide how much to proactively withdraw from traditional or convert to Roth each year. 4. Work with a CPA or financial advisor to create a year-by-year withdrawal plan. 5. Review annually. Investment returns, tax bracket changes, account balances adjust as needed. Now let's talk about the RMD rules you actually need to know. For those born in 1960 and later, the RMD starting age is 75. But this rule doesn't take effect until 2033. Not 2026, but 2033. In plain English, if you were born in 1960 or later, you're covered under the age 75 RMD rule. That rule takes effect in 2033, regardless of how old you actually are in 2033. For those born earlier, the 73-year-old rule still applies. How RMD is calculated? RMD equals December 31 balance of prior year divided by life expectancy factor. Most people use the IRS Uniform Lifetime Table. The factor at age 73 is about 26.5. At age 90, it's about 12.2. Alright, let's cover a few special RMD rules that people always get confused about. First up, Roth IRA. No RMDs, ever. That's it. Roth 401k. Since 2024, the original owner doesn't have RMDs anymore. But if you leave it to a non-spouse, they're still on the hook for the 10-year rule. Now, what if you forget to take your RMD? The IRS hits you with a 25% penalty on whatever you should have taken. But if you catch it within 2 years and take it, that penalty drops to 10%. Multiple accounts can get tricky. For traditional IRAs, you calculate each one separately, but then you can add everything up and take it from one account. Same goes for SEP IRAs and simple IRAs. They're all in the same IRA group. But for 401ks and 457bs, each account is on its own, no combining across plans. 403bs, though, are different. You can aggregate multiple 403bs accounts and take the total from one of them. Just don't mix 403b RMDs with IRA RMDs. Those are separate groups and can't be combined across categories. Last but not least, the still working exception. If you're still on the job, you can delay your first RMD until you actually retire, but this only applies to your current employer's plan, and it doesn't work if you own 5% or more of the company. Important things to know. This rule only applies to your current employer's 401k plan. If you have 401k accounts from previous employers, those accounts do not qualify for this exception. RMDs must be taken on schedule. Traditional IRAs do not qualify at all. No matter how old you are or whether you're still working, you must start RMDs at 73 or 75, depending on birth year. Now let's wrap it up. 3 principles, 3 actions. Here are the 3 key principles. 1. Spend taxable first, but don't empty it completely. It's your best tax rate buffer. No ordinary income tax on withdrawals, but don't drain it entirely in your 60s. Leave some for RMD years as a supplement. 2. Proactively withdraw traditional during your low tax window. Ages 60 to 73. This is the golden decade of retirement tax management. Shrink your traditional balance now. Shrink your RMD impact later. 3. Save Roth for last. Tax-free. No RMDs. It's your retirement ace in the hole. Don't touch it unless you absolutely have to. And it's tax-free for your heirs, too. Then 3 action steps. 1. Calculate your low tax window. How much low tax space do you have between retirement and age 73? 2. Create a plan for how much to withdraw from traditional each year. The goal is to keep your traditional balance at 73 from pushing you into higher brackets. 3. Review annually with your CPA or financial advisor. Account balances change. Tax brackets change. Laws change. Your plan should change too. Next episode. Withdrawal order. Taxable first or traditional first is just the beginning. Next time, we're covering a more foundational and more overlooked question. Social Security claiming age. 62, 67, or 70. Claim early, get less each month but for longer. Wait until 70, get 8% more per year, but collect for 8 fewer years. When should you claim to maximize your retirement plan? Next episode, we're breaking down Social Security claiming strategies. Completely. I'm Gino. See you next time.